So we have new numbers in from the city of Chicago, and they are not good. Shooting deaths already have topped last year's total, and the summer is not even over yet. Donald Trump has been talking about this, inner-city problems, blaming liberal economic policies for the violence. Now, I want to point out, first of all, that the Reverend Jesse Jackson will be a guest on this show on Cavuto Coast to Coast next hour. So we're going to talk to Reverend Jackson about this. First, though, from Black Sphere Radio, the host Kevin Jackson joins us right now. And, obviously the numbers and the problems in Chicago are well known, and the numbers are not good. What reasons do you think are most behind this? Is it driven by economics, by policing, guns? What are the reasons?
Well, let me start off by saying, Colin, that the only thing that's going to save blacks in Chicago is old man white winter. Cold weather tends to get people inside, and so they quit killing people. Look, the symptoms of this and the actual cause of this is pretty well known. It's liberal leadership, and particularly if it's black leadership. In Chicago, it happens to be Rahm Emanuel, but Rahm Emanuel is not the shot caller on the south and the west side. It's Carol Mosley Bronze and the various aldermen and the blacks that are in charge of these other blacks.
Okay, so what's the policy? What's the policy? Where has policy gone wrong that policy leads to crime?
Well, where policy's gone wrong is when you look at how blacks have been cordoned into these different, in what's called the black community, which there should be no such thing as a black community, and you look at all of the issues that liberalism drives. So you've got all these people in the black community driven into black neighborhoods where they've got poor schools, they're not getting educated, they've got no businesses in those neighborhoods because of the crime rate. You've got all of the ills of society find themselves exacerbated in those communities with nobody really helping. But here's Rahm Emanuel polishing up the downtown area of Chicago and telling people how great Chicago is as a city. So when you put people into these I call them urban indoctrination centers, and specifically into these bad neighborhoods, and you expect a better outcome, you're not going to get it. Here's what's interesting, Colin. If you think about the old crime rate in Chicago when it was Al Capone and people like that, the mayors cleaned it up. The reason why they cleaned it up is because it was citywide. When it's only limited to blacks, because the majority of these murders, not only the shootings but the murders, are mainly on the south and the west side. Rahm Emanuel says things like, take it to the alley. He doesn't want to address it.
In those neighborhoods. I'll talk to Reverend Jackson about that next hour. I also wanted to ask him about the changes that we've seen in policing. And do you see anything in that where there are fewer stops, for example, being made, and that leads to people in a mindset where they're more likely to carry guns and then use guns, and that leads to more shootings as well? Is there anything to that?
Of course there is. Yeah, when you look, we're talking about a liberal system that wants you to believe that the crime that's occurring in the black community is because of the police, and when police go there for the real reasons, which is there's just a higher percentage of crime, it isn't a condemnation of blacks, it's a condemnation of a condition, then they want to blame the police. So it's a cyclic problem that liberalism will never solve. It's always going to be the people in charge to blame. As I said, it's a Democrat mayor, usually Democrat chief of police, Democrat aldermen, liberals, all in charge, and they look for the scapegoat, and the very scapegoat are the people that they're in charge of.
Okay.
So we're never going to solve the problem that way.
Kevin Jackson, thank you, sir.